Hello again. This is Beau Davis, one of the founding partners here at Compass Wealth Management. Thanks for joining my third session. We're going to talk about some of the questions that were being asked that are really pertaining to what's going on with this current pandemic and how does that relate to your finances, our finances in general. We've all kind of seen a lot of things happen in the last 3 months that we've never been through. Very, very interesting times, very difficult in a lot of ways, and still have many months in front of us to go through. So one of the big questions we get related to Corona is this going to be like 2008? And our take has been no, we don't think it's going to be like 2008, even though we had a severe drop, 30+%, not as bad as what happened in 08, but we think there's one really big difference this time around. Well, really two big differences this time around versus what happened in 2008. Number one, the consumer's balance sheet going into this pandemic was substantially better than where they were going into the financial crisis of 08. What do I mean by that? I mean, the consumer was very, very under leveraged on their balance sheet going into this financial pandemic situation we're dealing with, this recessionary environment. In 08, the consumer was highly levered, residential real estate. We know how that all played out. So that's a substantially different part or different issue. Today, things are much better on that side than they were in 08. The other thing, too, which is huge, is the amount of stimulus the federal government, through different plans that they produced, they have basically offered up almost $2.5 trillion, whether it was PPP loans, whether it was unemployment benefits, there's state benefits in there, there's health-related benefits in there, but you're talking about $2.5 trillion. And they did it in a hurry, the fastest any of us have ever seen them come to the plate, to try to really help backstop a lot of businesses and a lot of individuals that were getting laid off. Substantially different. And on top of that, the central bank with everything that they're doing to provide liquidity. So those two things are huge. Another question we get, how long will it last? Well, that's kind of it depends. Certain segments of the economy, as we know, have kind of gone through the coronavirus like it really was not that big of a deal, and actually have probably gained market share. Other areas of the economy, hospitality, travel, leisure, retail, they really, really have taken it on the chin. And it's going to take, many years for a lot of those industries to get back to where they were. But overall, I think we've reached the worst of it in the late May, early June timeframe, and we're slowly but surely starting to marginally improve economically. Are we heading into a recession? Well, they came out just a few weeks ago. We're in a recession. The question I think that's most important is, when is it going to end? I think realistically, the economy bottomed at some point, late May, early June, and probably some point in the third quarter, we should be exiting the recession and hopefully starting to show positive growth again. But a lot of that depends on what happens with the virus. We don't know what things are going to look like 3 months down the road with the virus. We know that there's things that are coming on board. We know that there's potential for vaccinations late this year, probably next year, and also antiviral medications. So those are things that we don't have certainty around yet. So it's kind of a wait and see environment still. What are we doing right now, and what have we been doing to help protect our clients' accounts in this environment? Number one, the most important part is to make sure you've got a plan. Make sure that you have an asset allocation that's in line with what your long-term goals are. And then two, which is just as important, is making sure you have enough liquidity. So the most important thing we're doing is making sure our clients had enough liquidity to get them 6 months, 12 months, 18 months worth of resources, just in case this dragged out for a while. And the last question we get is, what can we do going forward to make sure we're better prepared if something like this happens again? I think it's the old saying that you've heard, people don't go into things planning to fail. They just fail to plan. And I think the most important takeaway from everything that we've seen as far as what's happened with this pandemic and this recession that is man-made is you got to have a plan in place. Kind of a roadmap on where you're going. And that helps to alleviate some of the stress and anxiety when you see the markets and see the volatility that we've seen here over the last few months. Thanks for taking the time to review these videos. I hope they were helpful. If there's anything I can do for you, please feel free to reach out to me. My direct line is 678-619-2358. Have a great day. Thank you.